All right, so we are going to be getting into our second match. The bands are New Dark Origin and Polypoid. Kind of funny to see New Dark Origin just going to probably be banned always. It's kind of the strangest map out of them. Generally, it is imbalanced in one way or another. Maybe, obviously mirror matchups, you could see it played because there's no balance there. It's more just preference. And then, I don't know, I guess PVZ, there's like a possibility we don't see it really get banned or anything like that. I don't know. I feel like it's actually a pretty good map for Protoss in that matchup too. But I guess we'll see as we get some PVZs played in here. But anyways, those are our maps for our third matchup. It's going to be Gao going up against ArtUser. Probably the least hype, because ArtUser is not as popular as Zealot or Royal. He's not quite as good either. But ArtUser has been very high up in the ladder for a long time. Again, if I'm recalling correctly, he was on Samsung Con, so he is actually a pro gamer. And someone who is very good friends with Sharp. But first, we're going to take a look at Gao. This is the guy I know the least about. You can see he's definitely rocking out some music, getting himself hyped up for this match. Definitely, without any doubt, ArtUser is the most beatable of the 5 pro gamers that are in this round of 8 right now. So Gao probably feeling like, okay, I have a shot. I can do this. I don't have to play against Snow. Thank God I don't have to play against Snow. I would hate to play against Snow. If I win this, I might have to play against Snow. But yeah, you can see he's definitely vibing, man. He's getting himself ready right now. And there's ArtUser. ArtUser has been pretty damn active for the last many years. Was he in one ASL? I'm trying to remember here. Maybe he made one ASL, but it definitely hasn't been a lot. ArtUser's been around for forever. He's been active like the whole time. I've actually played against this guy so many times on the ladder. And yeah, it's very hard to to play against someone of that caliber, I tell you. I think he's about 40-1 against me or so. But yeah, like ArtUser definitely the favorite here. But again, Gao is the one guy that I'm like, I don't think I even know this name. Maybe. Anyways, we are getting started, guys. Here we go into our first map, Apocalypse. All right, up at 12 o'clock, we have our underdog Terran player. This is Gao. And in the bottom right, our Zerg Pro. It's ArtUser. All right. Here we go. It's, Terran vs. Zerg on Apocalypse. Apocalypse is a map where I guess there's some more strategies that really are available than a lot of the other maps. One of the things to note is you have 10 mineral patches in your main base. One is like a half patch, but that lasts long enough to get strats going. 10 mineral patches gives you like a little bit more macro potential. Another thing to note is that the natural gas is pointed away from the outside, so it's hard for Zerg to scout if you have that. Because of those two things, when this was still in the map pool and Flash came back to the ladder, we saw him going almost purely mech on this map. Again, because of the additional minerals that you have, as well as that hidden secondary gas, it was very hard for Zerg to scout and to deal with. So that's like one of the main things, but that doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. In fact, I don't even think that that's the best way to play it. I actually think SK Terran is very, very good here. There's not that many bases for your opponent to go to. And there's going to be a main base that you can get to extremely easily from the back side, which makes dropships very, very good. So I just want to kind of mention that, right? Because that's, in my opinion, one of the good ways to try to pick up a quick victory in the matchup is 4 dropships is always a deadly way to try to end a match in Terran vs. Zerg. Now, ArtUser scouting across. He has gone for a hatchery first. We have Gao here scouting in. And yeah, as he scouts up, notice how he went up and checked the gas. That's exactly what he was looking for. He's like, you're not going gas, are you, here? Now, you still could go gas here. Like, you can go like a delayed factory and still go mech. It is definitely a possibility, but he's not going to... Oh, well, Arts is sinking deep, and then he starts the gas. We'll see if he throws down an engineering bay or not. Right? If you're going to get a gas this quickly, it's either going to be the engineering bay or the factory. ArtUser just going home with his drone. And actually, that engineering bay will have to be started very, very soon for this to make sense. You really kind of have to start it by the time the refinery's about to finish. Okay, the refinery just finished. So this actually probably is a factory build. And it does not have to be mech. It could be a Valkyrie rush. Could be a science vessel rush, but those are not very popular right now. That's probably about it. There's not a lot else. It's kind of like mech or a Valkyrie rush are going to be the two by far most popular ways to go about it. So there's the first factory going down. SCV is going to get picked off. ArtUser just kind of getting that against the back. Now Gao getting his SCVs over to that natural base. And coming out with another Scout SCV. I do like seeing the secondary Scout SCV to just try to figure out, like, okay, is there anything, do I have to pull SCVs to block against this or what? You know, if they do make a ton of lings, they still definitely can break through that wall. Now, he's actually going to get all the way down and see the spire. So that is kind of nice. You don't have to worry too much. Oh, is this going to be a Valkyrie rush? It looks like it. There's the armory. Now hold the phone. Does he start any more factories now? Because I see an armory, and I only see one factory, and I don't see a starport. Holy crap, this might be a completely different build. I'd be very excited if that's what Gao wants to do here. So he's going armory, armory, double armory. Okay, so it is going to be mech, but it's going to be the 2 armory mech, which is a very weird version. We've seen it not that many times, but yeah, I'm trying to think. I almost never see this particular build win. Like, when I've seen this used in tournaments like the ASL, generally the Zerg finds some sort of timing that ends up killing the Terran. It's a very greedy version. It's so upgrade heavy. And, like, the thing is, you don't ever hit at 1-1. That doesn't line up with anything because you don't have many units because you made both the armories so early. So you have to hit with 2-2. Right? That's kind of your timing. And that is not the fastest, and it costs so much gas as well. So he's got one upgrade going. Second upgrade hasn't started yet. He needs to get that started. My God. Come on, Gal. Okay, I think he just started. I just saw 100 gas disappear. All right, Muta's come out. ArtUser going to chase this vulture away. Kill it off. And yeah, he does have that second upgrade going. Has some missile turrets going up, which is very, very important. Goliath range doubtlessly on the way. And of course, the placement of his 2 armories is pretty well hidden. Now, ArtUser sees that it's mech. Now, there's a few different ways you can play against mech. Some Zergs like to just mass up Mutalisks to try to play against it. Which can end up working if they try to move out a little bit too early. Most people, I would say, do eventually go into a little switch. Like, they make enough Mutas that they're, like, still a little bit scary with the Mutas, and do a switch into the Hydralisks and then eventually into Queens. Right? Once you get enough Hydras and Sunkens and whatnot that the Goliaths don't feel like they can win, your opponent has to go into Siege Tanks. If your opponent has to go into Siege Tanks, well, that's where Queens are going to come into play and be very, very strong. Muta's flying in and actually do get some good damage right there. Delaying that turret quite a bit. Killing a few SCVs off here. Not that heavy of SCVs on Gao's mineral patches there. It's a little bit rough. Natural looking a little bit better as far as that saturation goes. Lots of drones hatching for ArtUser's third base, I think. Third hatch has a fourth hatch at that third base. Has opened up, and he's going to go ahead and send his drones up there. Now, has he made... Okay, there's the starport. So he is going to try to be on time, and you can see how he's switching into vultures. So when you go double armory, you have to get that science facility pretty quickly. So you have to switch into vulture production at some point. A big part of whether or not this build works or not will be whether or not he can get damage with these vultures. So he has the speed upgrade. Does he go towards the third? Does he go towards the natural? He's going towards the natural right now. All right, the mutas actually fly by. Oh, God, he is going to get some kills. The SCV actually blocks for a minute. Oh, he had burrow. Get wrecked. Now, science facility coming up. He is going to be able to continue towards 2-2 upgrades. Just the fact that ArtUser got Burrow already, which, by the way, Burrow is very popular in this matchup, both for scouting and you can stop things like vulture raids there. Since your opponent doesn't have comsat scanners early with this build, or with any mech build generally, you know, they're not going to be able to do too much against that. But yeah, so right now 1-1 is done. He's going to get that 2-2 started pretty quickly. Academy on the way. He's got really an excellent layout of how his Goliaths are placed defensively. So 2-2 is coming. This is definitely going to take a little bit to get going. There is another hatchery. Now, I haven't seen a Queen's Nest yet from ArtUser. He might be trying to prepare for like a timing push. Because the thing is, really all you have to do against mech, generally speaking, is hold one big push. You know, whether that's going to be via Queens or via Hydra Muta, if you can hold the first push, generally mech can't remake that same quality army. Now, a mech switch build can a little bit differently because they're going to be on 4 bases. But a regular mech opener is going to be on 2 to 3 bases. So it makes it a lot harder to do that, but it does make it a little bit quicker. Now, some vultures laying mines. Looks like he is going to go for a drop here. Very nice snipe on that drone, going for a 4th base. Yeah, the mutas, I don't think are going to get any real damage here. There's so many Goliaths waiting. Mutas get pushed back quickly. Okay, a couple vultures dropped in that main base. ArtUser in a bit of trouble. Goes, oh my God. He goes after the science facility and kills that so quickly. And look at this, the scan that he got. Gao actually doing a great job with this harassment. ArtUser thinking he can block it with only Burrow. But suddenly the Vulture's getting a ton of kills there. But killing the science facility is going to slow 3-3. It's going to stop any irradiates from coming out. There might be a world in which he can actually make even more mutas here. He has a lot of mutas already. Maybe that's something he wants to do. So right now the third command center flying over. A huge amount of Goliaths on the map right now for Gao. Only 4 factories at the moment, but adding a couple more. A new science facility at the top right of his base. Oh, the mutas are going to find it. They better target that down. ArtUser doing a great job utilizing the mass mutas. Look at this. He's going to jump on top of these turrets. The Goliath's way out of position. Okay, a science vessel flies up. I think that's just on the hotkey with the Goliaths. I don't know if he has a radiate. I don't think he does. Oh my God, he's going to get an armory before +2 is done. Oh my God. The whole build, the whole entire build was about getting 2-2 quickly, and he just denied that. ArtUser has completely dismantled what Gao was going for. Completely dismantled it. Yeah, I don't know how much I like this position for Gao. Well, I know how much I don't like it. If he had been able to get the 2-2 going, then it's like, okay, we have this really legitimate timing where you're probably 3 upgrades above the Hydras. Probably 3 above the Mutas as well. And when you start getting that many upgrades up, like 2 upgrades up is huge. Excuse me. But when you get 3 up, man, it becomes pretty one-sided. Now, ArtUser once again diving on this science facility. Okay, I gotta say, Gao, like, he's in some real trouble. I kind of liked the way that C was trying to play mech in SSL recently a lot better than this. How he got the quicker irradiate to try to deal with things like this so that this couldn't happen. Without any AoE damage, there's just no punishment. Like, he can push them back, but that's it. That's it. He's only pushing them back. ArtUser. Now, okay, there is one thing we need to say about this. ArtUser's only on 3 base this whole time. So, like, I think tactically, strategically, he's made a lot of very good moves with his Mutalisks. He's blocked the harassment pretty well. He's done a great job slowing the upgrades and killing the science facility twice. Okay, he has a Queen's Nest now, and I didn't see the Hive morphing, so I think he's probably just getting Spawn Broodling. Maybe Queen Energy into Spawn Broodling, but either way, the chance for Gao is in the fact that it's only a 3-base Zerg, right? So if it's 3-base mech against 3-base Zerg, it's like, okay, I don't have 2-2, but, you know, once you hit a critical mass of Goliath Siege Tank, that is going to be very cost efficient. Now, the Muta's flying in, going after these turrets again. There is a single Valkyrie here, but it's 1-1 Mutas, so they don't care that much. ArtUser acting afraid there for a second, but I think eventually he looks at this and says, okay, that's barely scratching me. Ooh, a D-Matrix on the Valkyrie. That's kind of cool. Don't see that every day, that's for sure. He definitely can target it down. He gets the Science Vessel. He actually does run from this Valk. Honestly, if he had turned and shot that, it would have taken 3 volleys maximum to kill it. Okay, so pulls back. The Valkyrie does get dragged into the Hydra. So, yeah, it goes down there in a couple volleys, and down it goes. But Gao now with a lot of siege takes. Okay, Queens are coming out. So we are about 2 minutes from this army becoming pretty obsolete. ArtUser going to send all of his Queens over to the side, try to build up that energy. This is the most important moment of the game. This is the only timing that Gao has. He has a 2-minute window where he needs to kill most of the army of ArtUser. And if he can do that, then the Queens won't make that much of a difference, and he can just kind of rally through. If he waits, then the Queens will kill, like, you know, maybe 8-10 siege tanks, and then suddenly ArtUser's army is going to trade so much better. So let's see if Gao can find this timing. Okay, we got about a minute left. +2 is finally done for these siege tanks. It's been waiting a while. Sieging up, pushing forward. He is on the low ground right now. Just a few of his units getting to that high ground. ArtUser going to pull back. I don't think he thinks he can wait till Broodling. Well, maybe with that counterattack. It does look like he might be going for a counterattack, or maybe this is a flank. We'll see. It definitely stops reinforcements either way. Gao turns around. So, you know what? This is going to buy him the time for those spawn Broodlings to come up. But at what cost? A lot of these Hydras taking a ton of damage. The Hydras, one siege tank coming up. I'm not really sure. Sets up like one siege tank. He's kind of stopping the counterattack. He's kind of attacking. The Queens have to be very close to ready. Yeah, see, about 10 seconds out right now from having that 150 energy needed for spawn Broodling. And here we go. Siege is up. First 2 tanks get spawned on. Ooh, an EMP, but it only actually hits one of the queens that had energy for this. Some more coming up. About 4 tanks have been turned into broodlings here. There's a 5th. 6. 7. 8. Dude, makes a huge, huge difference in here. 9 siege tanks. And the EMP did stop 1. So the EMP, which costs more than a single siege tank, saved 1 siege tank. And now he's mostly busting through. But Gao does have reinforcements coming. A lot of units got spent there. Well, it looks like the push just continues forward here from Gao. Yeah, ArtUser is cleaning things up. Don't forget he has a 4th base. I can see, looking at the minimap, by the way, that Gao's natural is mined out. And it looks like he will try to push through these Hydras, kill off this 3rd base. It's actually looking like it's going to go into Gao's favor, but he's got like 1.5 bases mining right now. A couple vultures slip by and are going to be able to kill a few drones off. The Hydra's going to be able to stop that, though. The 3rd base being killed is kind of the big thing that's happening right now. You know, based on what the army looks like, it might be worth it for one more Mutalisk round to come out. Like, if you were to make 9 Mutas now, there's like 4 or 5 Goliaths only out there. All he needs to do is kill that army, I think, right? There are some more units coming across now. I think some vultures. Yeah, a bunch of vultures coming out. Moving across the map just so quickly. Comes in with his Hydras from 2 different angles. Gonna be able to pick off these tanks. So yeah, didn't really need that Mutalisk switch. Losing, oh my god, like all of his drones here at his 4th base. ArtUser's economy being absolutely mangled here by Gao. Now, Gao, like, he's still just kind of rallying out. Like, he's attacking almost nonstop here. You can't really blame him because he knows that those queens are going to be back with more spawn broodlings soon. And that's gonna be the nail in the coffin for him, I think. But as of this moment, it does look like he's going to be able to win this game. Now, drones being transferred to that 4th base once again. ArtUser is remaking his own 3rd base as well. A ton more queens have come out, so ArtUser is going to try to be even more cost efficient here. It might end up working. Now, Gao with the EMP tech did just scan those queens. We haven't seen any vessels floating around, but if he does have one and he can EMP those queens, like, I still do feel like the game can go either way. Obviously, looking at the supplies and everything and how rough shape we're in for ArtUser right now, it looks like Gao should be able to win. But, I mean, you hit 10 more spawn broodlings, and the math is going to change very quickly. Gao, though, with that 4th base up and mining, making this very hard on ArtUser. His 2nd group of queens are about a minute out from their spawn... can barely speak. From their spawn broodlings. Right now, some vultures trying to run by. And, well, they are actually going to get a fair amount of these drones. He does have those 3-2 upgrades, of course, so the vulture's just absolutely decimating drones. Now, the heavy Queen Hydra combo going to start moving up the ramp a little bit. Gao coming down to the south. Lots of tanks and Goliaths mixed in there. And here we go. Look at this. Dude, if he hits a good EMP here, it's going to be all over for ArtUser. Okay, tries to send one up. Oh, he throws a parasite down so he can spot it coming in. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But if you zone with the Goliaths, I don't think you can get the queens in there. I think the army is just too big for Gao at this point. Well, I tell you what, one of our amateur players here showing some superior skills. ArtUser looking like he's probably going to be dead. Okay, utilizes the vision that he had there. Oh my god, look at the queens coming up. And EMP does go down and hits at least a couple, but the queens are taking out just about every single siege tank. The Hydralisk swarms getting on top of this army as Gao turns around and runs. Decides to turn around once again. But his siege tanks all picked off. We're down to Vulture Goliath, but he might actually have enough Vulture Goliath at this point to break through as well. ArtUser taking the best engagement he possibly can here on the high ground with those Hydralisks. Or like groundalisks. Oh my god, I'm going to see myself out. Another queen coming up. Hasn't utilized that broodling yet. The Hydralisk count is just getting so low at this point. Gets another siege tank, so that's kind of nice. Pulls back, pulls back. I think he has one more, a queen down there I saw with a lot of energy. Few siege tanks being sent over towards that 4th base location. GG is called. And that is going to be game number 1. Gao going to take it down in a macro game, which is pretty surprising. All right. Very, very well done. Kind of a crazy first game. Not what I was expecting, especially when ArtUser got the armories. I'm like, okay. I mean, he's going to be able to finish him from here, but the fact that he was late on some of those bases, he spent so much money on those Mutalisks. Even though what they did definitely paid off, he wasn't quite able to hold that first push. I liked how he kind of stalled everything out. But yeah, I guess it turned out to not be enough to get enough broodlings out to really end up winning the game. When he lost that 3rd base, and then also all the drones at his 4th, I think that was really what put Gao like above and beyond where he needed to be to end up finishing the game. I think if he had been able to keep either his 3rd hatchery alive or the drones at his 4th base alive, that should have been ArtUser's game. But unfortunately, unable to do so. And that means that a macro victory going to our amateur, kind of crazy. But it is what you'd like to see. Now, of course, ArtUser, the lower ranked of the pro gamers that we have here, or the well-known pros, right? So in this particular round of 8, we have Zealot, Royal, ArtUser, Scan, and Snow. So you look at that and be like, okay, Royal and Snow, a whole nother level. Zealot's right below that. ArtUser and Scan are probably right below that. In fact, I would put Scan above ArtUser right now, personally. But yeah, both of them with a little bit less experience than the other 3. But yeah, Gao definitely looking a bit stronger than Youngju and Hakime, so that's good because those 2 matches were kind of one-sided, especially the Hakime one. You know, best of luck to those guys to make it back in the future. But right now, ArtUser has got to step it up. He's got to try to deliver if he's going to want to move on to that round of 4. Of course, on one side of the round of 4, we have Zealot going up against Royal, which should be an absolutely fantastic match. Really hard to say which way that'll end up going. And then, of course, we don't have the other side of this done yet. After this match, we will have Scan versus Snow. So, yeah, we'll see if Scan versus Snow is going to be like a close one, a good one. Is it going to be a completely one-sided bop for Snow? I don't think it could be one-sided with Scan winning. I think that would be unrealistic. I think it'll be a good match. But yeah, Snow is just so scary in Protoss vs. Terran. Anyways, enough talk about that match. We are still in this ArtUser vs. Gao match. I wonder if he's going to utilize more mech. I wonder if he's just a mech guy. Sometimes you get someone like that, but generally you can't get too far in tournaments if you'll only go mech. Because mech isn't played that much, and it's not as strong, it's not as flexible, so people can come in with like very good anti-mech play. Right? There's a lot of different ways you can kind of pressure it and kill it off. And it's really, it's a lot about that first push. So I do hope to see a wider range, a wider variety from Gao, but actually it wouldn't be uninteresting to see more mech games from him. All right, taking a look at Gao winning that first game. Got to be feeling good. And we have ArtUser. Probably not too happy about that one. He's got his Ice Americano, his and yeah, the most popular drink in Korea for sure. I think that's his JSA jersey below that. Of course, a member of the very strong JSA team. And we are getting into it, guys. We're going to go to Polypoid for our next one. And let's go. In the bottom left, our Terran player, it is Gao. And in the top left, our Zerg player, it is ArtUser. Gao is showing that he is in Clan KS. Definitely, I see a lot of those guys on the ladder, very highly ranked. JSA, of course, one of the pro, like, university teams, I think we're still calling them. Very many good players in JSA. I want to say Scans in JSA. I believe Motive as well. Quite a few very strong players. Maybe I'm mistaken, because there's another one that looks just like JSA as well. But anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning into ArtosisCasts. I hope that you're enjoying. And it looks like Gao coming down here to make a wall to open. And, yeah, we will, we'll see if he goes for a quick gas once again or not. Now, he did go his gas after his command center in the previous game, just to mention. ArtUser here, not showing us quite yet what he wants to go for. His Overlord gonna pop, and it should be a hatchery, but we'll see. It could be a 12 pool. You never know. Gao gonna get that barracks started. And, yeah, ArtUser definitely is going to be going for... Wait, we just saw his... Oh, no, his money didn't disappear. Never mind. That was Gao's money. ArtUser going to go down, make that hatchery first. So pretty standard opener here. And a drone scout coming out as well. Gao going with his own SCV out in the map. It's going to take him a while to get over to ArtUser's base, unfortunately for him. And in the previous game, one thing we should mention is that he did go for a 1 depot into command center. Here, he should be going for 2 depot, with the second depot being in his main base. If he's not, then he's gambling quite a bit, because he doesn't actually have any good information right now as to what ArtUser is doing. Excuse me. And, yeah, we see that second depot starting in his main base. All right, the scout from ArtUser came down, and why is it coming back? Oh, he's trying to check on the CC. Okay, he jumps in to check, but it actually wasn't CC time if your opponent goes 2 depot. Yeah, it was like right on the border where you can't really judge too much by that. Now, I actually wonder, okay, look at this. His drone actually didn't leave yet. It went to the 3rd base, and now it's coming back once again. I think ArtUser is maybe playing too safe. Yeah, he dives in and actually checks the CC. So he will see the CC this time. I guess you can't say that that's too safe. He did lose some extra mining time, but if he hadn't done that, he probably would have gone for like a sunken colony like right away, for instance, as a defensive measure. Because he never got into scout, like, do you have a gas or anything like that. It is, by the way, a very fast gas with no engineering base. So it looks like Gao is going to go for a mech build once again. Is this guy just a mech guy? The thing is, you can... Okay, here's some important lessons for people, okay? So mech is less flexible. You have less options for moving out. You have less options for defense, right? Like, it can do less things than bio. there are things about it that are very good, for sure. But there are less things that you can do. So with less options, it gets solved a little bit quicker. So mech is just, in general, not as strong an opener as bio is. Now, we don't know. This doesn't have to be mech. He's making one factory out of the map, so that actually makes me think that maybe he'll throw an academy down pretty soon here. We'll see. He's definitely making a depot in his main right now, but maybe he'll go academy next, something like that. But, like, here's the thing. If you're playing on ladder and you're playing on, like, barcodes and stuff, you can be, like, a mech-only guy and, like, it can do okay because your opponent doesn't know it's you doing it. If you try to go mech 3 times in a row against ArtUser, I bet you're not going to end up winning that. Well, I mean, this is kind of a cheesy take on it, right? Because he's making that add-on. So if you're making an add-on here, almost certainly this is going to be Vulture speed, and you're going to try to run Vultures by to get some damage. Starport on the way, Engineering Bay on the way, Armory on the way. Okay, so this is actually a Valkyrie Rush with a factory on the map. So this actually reminds me a lot of a build that TY used in ASL last season against Shadon. He's going to try to run Speed Vultures in as mutas are coming out and defend at home with Valkyrie Marine Missile Turret. It's a good idea from Cal. It's a good idea. Now, the SCV running around is not a good idea. Because as soon as he spots the SCV, he's like, where was that? Where was that? And he'll send something, right? So you see this Ling coming up? If this Ling happens to run into the factory, there's not going to be any damage. Okay, it does not go into the factory. Missile turrets being made, bunker being made. SCV going to get attacked there by the Ling. All right, we should have 2 or 3 vultures right now. Okay, 2 vultures. He might wait for the 3rd because he wants to be able to one-shot drones. All right, the mutas start to fly in. Loads up that bunker. He does have some missile turrets ready here for ArtUser. ArtUser might be in some trouble. The 3rd vulture's going to finish and speed's going to be done. They actually finish at almost the same time in this situation. So here we go. All right, so the 3 vultures going to go in. Snipe that Ling on the way back. Uh-oh. ArtUser in some real trouble now. Targets 1 drone down. And the muta's all just flying home. So no more damage going to be dealt there to Gao. And he is killing so many drones right now. Oh my god. This is insane, the amount of damage he's getting. No, he should go down there. Well, I guess the other mutas are coming back, but like, I feel, well, he comes up and kills another drone, so that's good. You definitely want to sack these vultures. Like, maybe keep 1 alive on a hold position at the end or something, but you want to get more drones. Every drone you get here just makes the damage that much more painful. So he killed a lot of drones. 2 more barracks on the way. eBay is upgrading. Everything looks great. All right, 3 more vultures have been made, and he's going to try to outrun the mutas. He's keeping the mutas very, very busy like this. Oh, I think he tried to build something there. Dude, is Gao just going to 2-0 your ArtUser? The amount of damage he's dealing is pretty absurd. Okay, gets a decent amount of kills. I think the vulture play is going to be over. The mutas just have to go and confirm it on that factory. He actually cancels an additional missile turret. Probably feeling pretty solid as far as his defense goes. There should be at least 2 or 3 Valkyries by now. 4th barracks on the way. Oh, he only has 1 Valkyrie. Wow. It looks like he maybe skipped the additional Valkyries to try to get more buildings up for production, which I guess that's okay. I feel like actually you would probably want to front load Valkyries because the only tool your opponent actually really has right now is the Mutalisks. Okay, I guess he does have 2 and an okay-ish amount of bio. It's not that much. Definitely lurkers on the way here for ArtUser. All right, now hitting some damage onto those mutas as they fly away. Good Valkyrie micro. But his Bioforce is so small right now. You can see that making that many Speed Vultures definitely impacts the production of all the Marines and Medics. He's going to clear some Overlords. So, like, I still think it's a good position here for Gao. Ooh. Okay, actually, he only loses one Valk, so it's okay. And in fact, ooh, he turns and gets a second kill. Nicely done by ArtUser. It's still pretty good for Gao, but now ArtUser is like sealed up pretty tight. There's only one starport. Yeah, Gao's probably still ahead, but ArtUser is recovering well. The fact that the follow-up push couldn't cause any sort of damage at all, like what has he done? He's damaged some Mutalisks and killed an Overlord, and that's it. That's nothing. It's nothing at all. Not sure how many lurkers are sitting right there. The way he has them sitting, it looks like that's going to be a lot. But no. Yeah, we just saw the drag select, so there's only one right there, which means it is kind of breakable. You could, if you spread stim, scan, and get in there, you could actually pick that off, but he's a little bit nervous with those mutas right there as well. And if there was more than one, then things can go very wrongly. So right now, Gao pulling back, reinforcing. A new factory being made since he did lose his second factory. He's unable to add that second starport, which he actually really desperately needs right now. Whether that's to go for dropships or more likely more science vessels. Hive coming up. Yeah, we have that command center being made on location at the third. I kind of like that from Gao since he does definitely have map control at this point. Like, ArtUser is definitely turtled up quite a bit. Now, that's 5 lurkers. If you try to attack 5 lurkers here, you're going to lose absolutely every unit you have. And if you make the mistake of thinking that's like 2 lurkers or 3 lurkers, oh, man. That's a great way to throw the game. All of us have done that a lot of times. So 6 barracks right now. Second starport. Second eBay coming up. I gotta say, the macro of Gao is good. Like, he's doing a good job of keeping up on his production and everything as well. So Defiler Mound is out. New macro hatchery coming up. I like that he dropped a small group of units up to where that high ground, because that's where the 4th base will want to go. Oh my god. Not even a shot at the mutas there. Not sure if he misclicked that or what, but that's crazy. Some very sharp play here from ArtUser. Throwing down some more macro hatcheries as well. He's really recovered well at this point. 85 supply is pretty scary when you're only at 120. And the thing is, there's not many vessels, right? The vessel count is like a hugely important part of how you're doing in a Terran vs. Zerg game when you have Bio out against Hive. Because the Bio alone can't really do anything against Hive. Now, ArtUser has a lot of gas banked up. More and more lurkers coming out. Ooh, picks the science vessel as well. Very nice. Catching that dropship. A lot of things going wrong for Gao at the moment. A lot of things going wrong. All right, so this little group is going to greatly slow this down. You see, he's trying to push it back with Dark Swarm and some Lings. And like, yeah, I mean, technically you can do that. But as long as Gao stays on top of that, he should be able to deny that 4th base for a long time. So that was a very worthwhile drop. Even though we haven't seen those units do anything until just now, they're definitely buying some time for him. Now, it looks like there's significantly less lurkers at the natural on the left-hand side. So maybe there's some way in there. He did throw in a radiate down. More Lings coming up at this top right main. Kind of scouting where this is at. Ooh, that Defiler coming around that angle. He was probably looking to get in there and hit a plague. Trying to come from an angle that he wouldn't really be looking at, and instead he ends up losing it. So a little bit greedy there from our ArtUser, trying to be sneaky. Double Starport Science Vessel going. Double eBay. He's still not supply block. Gao is doing a great job macro-wise, seriously. But it's still, his Science Vessel count is not super, super high. So he's not like overwhelming ArtUser yet. Even though it feels like he's doing a pretty good job, especially with how long he's actually delayed this 4th base. Ooh, actually, that's probably still going to make the hatch. I think the Ling might have gotten in the way there a little bit. But you can actually, with an irradiated drone, just throw the hatchery down, and it doesn't do any damage to it, although it still has a giant irradiate on it. Science Vessel kind of poking in there. Double Evo is out. Eventually, I think you'll see this turn into Ultras, but this could turn into a Hydra Lurker Defiler game as well. A lot of fire bats being added in. Bottom right main being taken. Gal's still doing a great job with his macro. Dude, Gal's actually really good. Like, seriously, I'm watching this. Like, you see this little group of Marine Medic out in the front there? It is a perfect zoning tool. That's literally there to eat plague. It allows your science vessels to go further forward so that Scourge can't just come up and catch them. You just run the vessels over those Marines. And the Marines, like, purposefully are sitting there like that, and they know they're going to get plagued. That's why it's a very small group, but it's just a big enough group that it's annoying to clear with Lings, right? He is putting out an excellent game here. Like, he's got all the fundamentals. Looking at the mech game, I was, like, really unsure about it, because it's hard to say with mech builds, because they're not that trendy or anything, and, like, a lot of times they're, like, a cover for being bad at SK Terran, but he is really playing beautifully here. Look at this, hitting his irradiates. Yeah, he's eating a lot of plagues, but that's just going to happen. Now, another drop up here, and stims up, kills a lurker, irradiates a defiler, killing off most of the Lings here. Gao really putting out a ton of effort at the moment. In fact, he's even taking a 5th base during all this, still dropping. Still keeps his minerals below 1,000. Literally, I sometimes see JYJ in these positions go up to 2,000 minerals. And JYJ, in my opinion, is the best SK Terran player that there is. But really, really excellent play here from Gao. He is putting out his absolute best. 2-2 upgrades are done. Very nice. Coming up here to try to clear. Unfortunately, you can tell he control-clicked the Marines, so the Firebat didn't come to help deal with all that. Going to rotate around a little bit. Some more irradiates likely to go down. ArtUser really has his back up against the wall right now. Now, he does have +2 carapace, and we did just see that Ultralis Cavern, which makes sense. I think the Ultralis follow-up's very, very smart here for ArtUser, but he needs his 4th gas. Like, it's good to get the upgrades rolling, but if he starts producing them before the 4th gas is really up and mining, it's a little bit hard to keep that going. Now, we just saw some battle cruisers pop out for Gao. The battle cruisers are going to be a little bit problematic here for ArtUser. Battle cruisers are like a very good harassment tool in games specifically like these, where there's been like a lot of pressure, your 4th base might be a little bit slow, and you're going into ultras. You put all that together, and then suddenly the BCs can be a problem. Now, the BC coming up does hit some overlords because it's just on attack move. That's going to buy some time for ArtUser to make some spores, which is a very good counter to those BCs. Still more drops coming in here by Gao. Ooh, a drop towards the top right to try to deny some of that gas mining. His little forward group there dealing with some Lings that came out. Gao is mining 5 bases right now, and he's got 200 minerals in the bank. That's insane. That's insane macro. 285 APM. Dude, he is like efficient as hell. All right, stimming forward now, trying to break through. Yeah, Darkstorm goes down. Good luck, Gao. Not going to happen, bro. He had a Defiler and a Lurker there. It wasn't going to happen. Now, a couple dropships coming in. Might drop right on top of that Lurker. Dude, right now, ArtUser, I feel like, is right on the edge. Okay, he has a BC here that's getting plagued, being hit by spores and Muser attacking, so that's not going so well. Does kill that 4th base, though. Dude, ArtUser doesn't have a lot left, but we have to note his supply, 120-ish, right? Zergs are fine. Like, Zergs are not killable until you get them below 70 supply. I kid you not. You watch. If he loses this game, he's going to drop right below 70 supply and then leave. It's like literally that's the line where they don't have enough to hold anymore. But 70 supply plus, Zerg can always stay alive. So 120 is like legitimate Zerg supply. You know, it's just all the Zerg units cost very little supply-wise against the other races. And, like, have a lot of supply efficiency defensively. Like, lurk, you know, 1 Lurker, 1 Defiler, hold on against just about everything. Another BC falls. Look at this. Zoning everything out as ArtUser tries to come. But you know what? ArtUser is hitting some plagues. He's picking off some vessels here and there. But he just doesn't have that 4th base. And without the 4th base against 5 base Terran, he's 5 base against 3 base this whole time. It's been a long time of 5 base versus 3 base. He's barely got drones on the 3rd. Okay. Defiler coming out with Ultra now. Now, here is the thing, right? You can see that ArtUser doesn't have that much of a bank of gas anymore, and it's going to get lower and lower. The Ultraless Defiler combo is unbelievable, right? It's so strong together. Because against Ultras, you need your units clumped. Against Defilers, you need them spread in smaller groups. So when you combo those two together, there's no good answer against it. But with only 3 gases, it's very hard to do. And we're actually hitting the moment right now. It's like 21 minutes to 23 minutes. In that range is where the geysers start going dry for Zerg, the 1st and 2nd geysers. If you can live to 23, 24 minutes, Zerg loses. Generally, in these situations. Because the gas just dries up and they turn into like mostly lings. And without all that gas coming in, it gets rough. Now, Gao dropping here in the top left. Honestly, we're so close to a Gao victory. I almost feel like this is too much. He's being, like, almost too wasteful. Or, like, win more. That's what I'm looking for, right? I don't like win more moves in situations like this. It's like, okay, all you have to do is deny the 4th base for another 2 minutes and you win this game. Well, I mean, he's still clearing so much. Yeah, ArtUser is trying to come out, and Gao doesn't have a lot of units right up here. Like, the battlecruiser can actually turn here and slow everything down. This battlecruiser looks like it'll be dealt with. He does have that +1, which is very, very nice. It allows him to one-shot Scourge, no matter how much armor they have. And here comes the huge amount of bio from Gao. So he just needs to kind of, like, hold his position, put a little bit more pressure on, and ArtUser's about to dry up. Look at ArtUser's money right now. Right? He was at 700 to 1,000 gas for a very long time there. And suddenly we're at 193 gas, right? Like, there's just very, very little. Now, here come the Ultras. He can't really replace these very easily. Gao's standing and fighting. He's actually a little bit lower than what he needs. Plague plus Darkstorm goes down. And obviously, you can't really fight against that. You know, the Ultras stand under the Darkstorm. Stay there and fight for a moment. ArtUser backing up now. Still has an okay amount of everything. Battlecruiser still harassing. Look at this. Double factory. Dude, Gao is good. Gao is really, really good. I love him adding factories down there. If you're going to lose at this point, it has to be Ultralisk based and Zergling based. So like Vultures and Siege Tanks are going to have a lot of value. Like you'll have to start upgrading them with your armory, which we know he has one, obviously, from the Valkyries before and, you know, the +1 that's on the BC. But yeah, if you start putting like Siege Tanks on this legend stuff, that's going to be great. Now, ArtUser's actually coming in here, and there's not that many units. That Darkstorm actually missing the Ultra that's been taking all that damage. But he's got to send a lot of units down here to clear this. This is very, very annoying. ArtUser pushing into the natural now. There should be enough units here, but you know what? He's going to get a Dark Storm down. This is going to be very annoying. Ooh, a great Plague goes down right there. But if you're not under Dark Storm, you're not going to quite break through. Now, more Ultras come down, and this is actually a very small group of Marines on the right. Oh, a great Plague. Well, I don't know if that's a great Plague. It gets one of the Ultras as well in there, but a lot of the medics also. Gao's supply is not so high anymore, is it? 144 against 130. So, like, what that tells us is the standing army here of ArtUser is definitely stronger. But Gao has so many mining bases, he should be able to easily pump that supply right back up. Whereas ArtUser, I don't know if that's really the case. Now, two things. ArtUser has taken top right, and he's taken his regular third base location. For most matchups, it would be third base. Obviously not this one. So he's actually just jumped up to 5 bases, which adds 2 more gases to replace the 2 gases, the main and natural gas that he mostly lost, right? You lose 75% of gas mining as it depletes. So he's actually going to go up to, like, we'll call it 3.5 gases. So he's going to be able to keep this type of production up. And suddenly, hold on. Bottom right is cleared. These Lings are not going to be stopped. He's going to lose a lot of SCVs. He might even lose the command center because this is such a hectic game. The Cracklings kill command centers so quickly. There are some real issues going right now for Gao. He's lifted 6 o'clock, or did he lose that command center? No, he just lifted it, and it's flying away. It looks like he's going to just put it at a different pace. Bottom right, he has to lift. And now he's got this really wide open base kind of in the bottom right. Suddenly, ArtUser has 3 mining bases, and we have 1 for Gao. This turned around so quickly, and their supply is about even. And anytime you're even with supply with Zerg, you're in a lot of trouble. All right, Gao trying to get back on the map. He's coming up with some irradiates. He's got to zone out these defilers. It's really the Dark Swarms being near his base and the Plagues being on top of everything he has that are going to cost him. Brings together a big army. All right, nice snipe on that battlecruiser, by the way. The battlecruisers are actually still very useful, but it looks like they were on a move command there as opposed to attack move. The thing is, these positions get so sloppy because the battlecruisers will, like, attack something and then follow it around and never catch it. So I understand utilizing movement commands, but I think you can actually keep them more on the defensive a little bit in a game like this that got hectic to make sure you're holding certain bases. But right now, I gotta tell you, I feel like Gao has put out such a strong game. But ArtUser has rallied back moments before death. Like, literally, he was right on the edge of losing this game. And now I think you have to say he's ahead. If Gao can't kill at least 1 base, like this base probably is the most likely to go after. If he can't kill that base, ArtUser's going to win. Now he's got a lot of vessels here. Really good irradiates coming down. Gets a lot of those Ultralists. I think he got the Defiler there. No, it is. The Defiler's still fine, actually. Definitely wants to get that, though. Taking some big damage now. Some Plague, Scourge. The Spores going after these as well. What an absolutely wild game. All right, the Science Vessel count has gotten much lower. He's irradiated a lot of the Ultras. Again, this is really, like, he has to kill this. Scans to try to kill these Lurkers, but he's already taken damage on these Marines. The Lings are there as well to kind of tank some hits and let those Lurkers deal their damage. Gao has to pull back. Gao getting a command center at that bottom right natural now. He did float 6 o'clock up to his own, like, regular third, but now Lings are on top of that as well. Gao is falling apart now. He's 30 supply down. This is an insane comeback from ArtUser. I felt like Gao played this so unbelievably well. Trying to get a drop at that top right. Trying to make something come together. GG is called. An unbelievable comeback there from ArtUser. You got to hand him that one. Really, really strong. He had to think that he was deado too. But taking those 2 bases, putting a ton of pressure onto his opponent during that time, throwing down some Dark Storms, making him run around and clean up. That's the thing. If Ultras and Defilers appear at your bases, that's where Terran starts to lose control, because there's no quick way to clear that. Excuse me. You got to get your spellcasters down there with the science vessels. You got to bring a bunch of bio there as well. And, you know, crazy game. Crazy, crazy game. We're going to be getting into game number 3 here. So, yeah, let's try to go ahead and get into that pretty quickly. I got to tell you, Gao is a player I didn't really know before, but like looking mechanically at what he was able to do in that game against ArtUser, even though he ended up losing, it was really good. Like every aspect of it was very smart. His macro was excellent. His expansion timings were excellent. His pressure with dropships was excellent. There were things that went wrong, right? Of course, there always are in any game, but keeping his money that low, getting that many expansions, keeping that much bio out on the map. The thing is, he killed a lot of drones early on, too. If you think about that, how that game opened, it's almost hard to remember because the game got so epic later on. But the speed vultures running around, killing so many drones, that's huge. I want to say that when I was talking about the win more moves that he was doing, I think that that was part of it. It wasn't everything. But as you approach the 23-minute mark, like that's like the last stab for Zerg if they don't have the 4th base, right? Like they have to have it at that point. And the game just kind of falls apart for them if they don't, right? So I feel like when you're getting in that 21 to 23 minute range, if you kind of sit back a little bit, if you pull into this position where you're like, okay, he has to counterattack to get these bases down, most likely, right? Because you've been denying them the entire time. So how did ArtUser get them down? It's via getting some counterattacks. He had some Ultras and some Defilers and Lings come out on the map, kind of hit everywhere. Not with enough to kill anything. He didn't really kill anything, but it did force Gao back to clean it all up. How did he get past? Well, Gao was still trying so desperately to get damage. Like, why are we dropping the main base? If you deny the 4th base any longer, he loses. You don't need to kill buildings in the main base. You don't need to kill drones in the main base that's already out of gas. So, yeah, in my opinion, that's probably what went wrong. If he had instead just kind of made sure the net was there to catch everything so that nothing could move down, that could have been a 2-0 victory for Gao, which would have been absolutely huge to get top 4 in this very first PSL round 1. Wow. A crazy game, though. A crazy game. A very long game as well. Whew. I'm kind of pooped after that one. I can't even remember what the 3rd map was. I want to say that it was going to be Radeon, but I guess we'll see here in a moment. Very interested to see what Gao wants to go strategically for, because he has had 2 factory openers, but completely opposite ways that he played them. You know, one game going for the heavy mech with 2 armories, and the other game, of course, going for like this sneaky speed vulture into Valkyrie build, which I think is a good and probably underutilized build. When TY did a build like that against Jaedong to eliminate him a couple seasons ago, that was, I think, one of the smartest, newest builds that we've seen in Terran vs. Zerg. But yeah. Feel like anything could occur now. Honestly, I kind of want to see Gao go for like a BBS. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but I think in this position, your opponent knows you can play a strong macro game. It's going to be a 4-player map. Let's just make 2 barracks in the center, and if he doesn't pool first, move on to the round of 4. I think it's a good choice. Take some balls to do it on the elimination match, too. All right, so Gao right now, maybe a little bit flustered there. You saw him maybe heating up some. I know my body temperature goes up when I lose. I think it's a common thing for Terrans. I want to believe that it is, at least. You can see he's really deep in thought there. And we're going to get going into our next match. In the top right, our macro Terran. It is Gao. And in the top left, our Zerg Pro Gamer. It's ArtUser. So positionally speaking, this is pretty good for ArtUser and Mutalisks. You can definitely put a lot of pressure on those natural minerals of Gao. And of course with Gao, well, yeah, I guess we wait and see where he wants to go with the buildings, right? Is there any chance he does BBS here? Not sure. By the way, just looking, like I can tell that he's just slightly off. The way he's mineral boosting is like a little bit late on that top patch. He's doing it like halfway through, and I'm 99% sure you're supposed to do it right as it turns around. Let's see. Yeah, but he keeps holding on a little bit there. So maybe his rhythm not quite caught yet. Might be a bit flustered. Okay, he's doing it closer, but not 100% close. All right, ArtUser. Yeah, I mean, this guy's been a pro for so many years. I'm not too worried about his mindset. Couple drones. And yeah, it's going to be a hatchery first, it looks like, for him. Gao, again, with the 2 building wall. Not really interested in making the 1 whole wall with the third or the secondary depot. And we actually... Okay, there's his scout. There's his scout. Going to be the 12 scout that's the most common. And I imagine it'll go to the... Well, I don't know. I would go to the south probably here. But you can go to the left just because if their Overlord is coming from that direction and they're doing a quick pull, you're going to get caught off guard. Because the Overlord can see and not reveal itself. So you don't want them to have that much of an informational advantage. Just too much can go wrong. If you don't wall, though, it is better to scout vertically on this map. Because you get information about two spawns, basically. Is the Overlord checking and is the hatchery there? Anyways, goes up, checks. Everything looks normal. And he's going to throw his command center down before that secondary depot. Just like we saw from him previously. And now we'll see that secondary depot in a Marine. But will we see the gas right away? I bet you we do. I bet you we do. So here's the depot. Marine should be making. No? Okay. Maybe we go for the gas before it. Yeah, he's optimizing super heavily. Gas before the Marine. So, with the gas before the Marine, like, I think it's going to be a quick factory once again. I mean, it's done well for him both games. He won game 1, should have won game 2. Honestly, I thought he should have lost game 1 and should have won game 2. The beauty of StarCraft, right? So, well, I mean, nothing really to see as of yet. I mentioned previously, right, like, if you can keep that SCV alive until after the eggs that start after that Overlord finishes pop, then that's like a very, very good scout. Okay, he sees a drone pop out of there, so he's going to be feeling very confident. He doesn't need too many Marines at home. SCV going to try to get out. Might get caught, though. Factory on the way. Will we see a second factory? Will we see double armory? Will we see a starport? So difficult to say here. Nice catch there by ArtUser. Third hatchery going up in that main base. He's mining a lot of gas. It feels like a starport build to me. But it could be Armory Factory, and it could be Double Armory. Let's see. That's an Armory. Is there a secondary Armory in the main? There might be. There might be. It might be the Double Armory build again. Not as good a map for it, I would say, but not terrible. You do kind of have that gas hidden. Okay, Double Factory. Is that an Armory as well? Okay, so I believe he has Double Armory then. But he's split them up into different locations, which is probably smart based on how ArtUser played game 1 against him. But mech builds in general are going to be slightly less strong on this map. Don't forget you have other ramped mains. It is a bigger map, and you have one less mineral patch in your main base here. Goliath builds are very mineral heavy, by the way, just to make it clear in case that wasn't the case. In case you're looking and be like, what does one mineral patch have to do? Doesn't it make everything better? No, not really. Does Zerg care about the one more mineral patch? They're pretty gas heavy in the matchup, right? They're really looking at one drone per patch, and like we want, you know, to get maximum gas mining to get those mutas out. It's not really inhibited by that. Whereas with, you know, mech, it's like, well, everything's really, really expensive. And you're likely to stay on 2 base for a lot longer as well. So yeah, he does do the Double Armory build once again. All right, swooping in right now for some kills. And it looks like he's actually picking off so many SCVs here. Oh, some missed micro there for sure. He missed like 2 volleys. So 1 to 2, or maybe even 2 to 3 kills missed there because he got so many glaives out before. But yeah, definitely misses a little bit of damage. A lot of anti-air right now for Gao. Gao backing up. All right, Goliath range is done, so that's kind of nice. Pushes those mutas back. He will have to start going for some vultures relatively soon here. Because he does have the Double Armory going. He is going to have to get a starport and science facility going up. So you do want to get that vulture speed relatively soon as well. The third hatchery coming up for ArtUser at the natural third base, which is the same thing we saw in Apocalypse last time he played against this build. All right, chasing down that vulture. No speed as of yet, so unable to get away. SCV trying to jot in here for some info. Not going to get too much. Saw another Mutilus catching, so at least there's that. And there's that starport. So you can see right now that's vulture speed that's being made. He probably has 3 vultures lined up, but it might be 3 more Goliaths into 3 vultures after that. It feels to me like he has enough Goliaths that he doesn't really need any more right this second. And you really do have to focus on making sure that you have the gas for 2-2 and that science facility right away. And based on how ArtUser played last time, he may want to consider going into a Radiate similar to how C did in the SSL. That can be a very good counterplay to heavy mutas. Now the mutas wanting to come in for some damage. Goliaths in plenty of range to parry them. Mutas with that +1 attack. +1 on these Goliaths. Actually, when you do builds like this where you're going to get a science facility, you always want to go +1 attack first. If you're not going to get quick science facility, +1 armor first is better. The +1 armor actually affects more, but the +1 attack, because you have to go vultures, allows 2 vultures to one-shot a drone as opposed to 3. Whereas the plus armor does nothing for the vultures. Well, here it's double armor anyways, so it's whatever, but talking about 1 armory builds. All right, the 2 speed vultures going to run out. See if they can find some drone damage. Big moments for Gao here. All right, the Mutilus rotating in, dealing some damage, killing off a little bit here. Kills a turret, and then gets about 4 or 5 SCVs. Vultures unable to do much across the map. He actually gets mines with him as well, so that's kind of interesting. He can lay some mines around the map. That'll give him some good vision. Maybe pick up some unit kills later on. Maybe see the mutas flying around and whatnot. Can be useful. Scans going down as well as he tries to figure out where everything's at. A secondary sunken going way far ahead. Sometimes stifling these forward. Well, first off, as you can see, they can hit the vultures as they go through, but generally that's utilized against siege tank pushes. Make them siege in multiple locations. Here against so few, you'd probably attack, move through it. But like if they have several and they're kind of spread out like that, that's a pretty common way to do it. More mines being laid. A lot of vultures have actually been made, so you can tell he is spending a lot of that gas elsewhere, but he's got like 700 gas, so probably wants to return to Goliath production. 2 more factories coming up. That 3rd command center is already done. I do wonder if maybe he spent any money on irradiate. By the amount of gas he has in the bank, I don't think that he did, but I think that he should. The heavy mutalisk groups that we've seen have been very, very strong against Gao. And you can see, look at how many stacked mutas there are. 2 irradiates would make you cry with that many mutas. And look at this. He does not care about single target damage. Just does not care. Going after that armory, and he'll get it too. There's no stopping that. You just have to punish. But is there enough here to punish? It's like he's getting a bunch of single target damage, and ArtUser just going to fly over it. Doesn't care at all. A little bit too much anti-air there. Decides not to go after that armory. All right, rotating out right now with these mutas. One upgrades on those mutas too. That's kind of nice to see. And I wonder if he denied +1 attack or +1 armor in that main base. That armory is by far more likely to die than the one in your natural. So hopefully that was +2 armor, because +2 attack is going to be a little bit more useful here. You're going to want that +2 attack for your siege tanks against the Hydralisks. It makes a big, big difference. Now the muta's flying back in. Oh, doesn't matter which one it was because he's going to get both of them. Kills the armor again. Oh my god, this is just complete deja vu. Is he going to kill the science facility as well? Look at him just fly on top of everything. See, this is why C's build in SSL was really, really smart. Is he going to get the command center? Are you kidding me? Well, this is why you need splash damage against Mutalisks. Because if your opponent is like, you know what, he's not going to go splash, they can just do this. And he's actually getting so many hits on these mutas, it makes me a little bit nervous. Excuse me. There is no question in the world right now, Gao has to counterattack. This is the timing to counterattack, and I see that there's more supply for ArtUser. A lot of it, the thing is, his army's kind of split. A lot of it's mutas that are damaged, and a lot of it's hydras. And I'm not sure that he has critical mass of either. I think that he probably has enough to hold on. But I think when your opponent floats over all of your anti-air for that long, attacking a command center and an armory, you simply must counterattack. You must say, okay, you took a lot of damage there. This is going to be my best opportunity. Because this doesn't feel like, okay, rebuild the command center and you'll be fine. Right? I'm all about staying calm as Terran and trying to fight back from bad positions. But I don't think that's a... Dude, that army doesn't look that big, though, does it? Oh, my gosh. I think still I would try to attack here. I think it's the right call. Well, Gao remaking the command center. He's staying calm, that's for sure. You got to hand it to him. All right, walking into some mines here. That is a lot of hydras. That is a lot of mutas. Gao's army looks so small by comparison. It really does. Oh my gosh. Right, well, the muta gets picked off, and here we go. The big engagement has begun. I think with the mutas, you just target the siege tanks. Okay, he actually pulls way too far back there, but yeah, he is going to dive on the siege tanks and let the hydras do the rest. Okay, that's game. That's series. There is no way to win here as Gao. 0%. All right, ArtUser actually beating Gao way harder in this third game. And this is partially what I was talking about how you can't really go mech all the time, especially in a tournament. Because your opponent will, like, if they think there's any chance you go mech, their mind state, I guess, their mindset of how to play against it will be much improved the second time. The first time, it's kind of like, oh, it's mech. Okay, wait, I'll do this, right? Whereas here, he's already been thinking about it for an hour. His moves, very, very strong. It's too bad that we didn't see better counterplay here from Gao. If he had gone into a Radiate, I think that this game could have looked very different. And he had the gas to do it, too. And he had the inspiration in the form of C's SSL games, which, you know, like, there isn't a player of this level in the world that doesn't watch every SSL game. That's for sure. All right, Vulture's running in here for a bit of a raid. Yeah, they kill an okay amount of drones, but I don't think ArtUser cares that much. You can lose some drones and refill that pretty easily. SCV's being sent up into that main. He does have the armories out. He's got like a lot of armories, sitting around 3 armories. Just so many mutas coming up. Okay, a lot of Hydras moving into position. Looks like the mutas are going to attack into the natural here. And, like, you're going to have to send all your Goliaths. He might have a plan to, like, rotate out quickly and attack tanks, or maybe he just attacks in without the buffer of Goliaths in front of siege tanks. Maybe his Hydras can win. Lots of damage being dealt, though. And you know what? The Vultures actually run in and raid this bottom left. That's kind of nice. And he finally does have those 2-2 upgrades despite losing his armories before. So that's well done from Gao. Well, this is a very good defensive position for Gao. If ArtUser tries to shove himself over the bridge, maybe that opens up a counterattack for Gao at that point. Well, the couple Vultures look like they're getting him to maybe rethink for the time being. Some Queens now coming out for ArtUser as well. He's going to be able to remove some of these mines. All right, you know, Gao is he's macroing back up, right? And it's like if you do hit like a max out mech army, maybe there's some opportunity here where you can be so cost efficient. It seems like it can't happen because here's the thing: Zerg has a lot of tactics, right? They can do some counterattacks. Eventually, they're going to find a way for the Queens to hit some Broodlings on your siege tanks, and really the siege tanks are what make mech so cost efficient. Like if you just have only Goliaths, let's say 200 supply maxed out, and you're attacking, those are going to be fighting twice as many Hydras, right? So you need the siege tanks in there for the extra damage. 2 Hydras is better than a Goliath. So, you know, once the siege tank count starts to fall, then, you know, the other races just start to, like, splatter your support units, which is basically every unit Terran has other than the siege tank. Every unit is to support that thing. So that's what makes these Queens just so strong. They're going to try to tip the favor towards Zerg, and I think they're going to be able to do so quite heavily. Now, ArtUser's maxed out. At this point, there's really no point for Gao not to max out, but there's going to be a lot of spawn Broodlings ready for that. Walking through a few mines here. Not the biggest deal to lose a few supply, as ArtUser's taken every base on the map. He's already got 5 up with 2 more coming. Scan goes down. Gao sees a huge amount of Queens waiting for him. He's going to try to zone him out, I think, with his Goliaths, but I don't think he'll have enough. Maybe there's a world where he hits that sick EMP. We did see him try. All right, here we go. I think the queens are just to the north here. He's splattering this first army for sure. A lot of queens come in and get some of the siege tanks, but he did splatter that army, man, for sure. Some more come out. Even willing to hit some Goliaths at this point. The macro of ArtUser is going to be out of control. He's going to be able to max out again very, very quickly. Here Gao goes, rolling forward. Maybe if he can clear bottom left, there will be a chance. The thing is, he's running out of minerals. His main base is almost dry. His natural is almost dry. Very tough situations. All right, sieging up very heavily. Here come more queens. Oh, an EMP goes off. Beautifully done. Catches 4 queens there. Now that's the move we're waiting for. A lot of people ask if EMP could be a counter. I've only seen, previous to this match, I've only seen Speed try it. And when Speed did it, it like kind of did a little bit, but didn't seem that good. That was an excellent one, though. Stopping 4 or 5 tanks from dying for 1 spell. Excellent. Now, he is... Dude, is Gao going to be able to find some sort of timing to win this game? Look at ArtUser's supply just plummet. Now, that being said, he has a lot of gas, and there's almost no Goliaths left. Oh, yeah, there you go. Already thought of it. ArtUser switching into these Mutalisks, and he is going to be able to clear this. There's just not enough Goliaths here. You target down those Goliaths, you go after the siege tanks. Look at this. He's even now purposefully broodlinging the Goliaths so that he can just chomp through with these mutas super fast. And now your tanks have been getting broodling, so you want to remake them. But it's mass muta coming after you, so you just have to make a ton of Goliaths. A very tough situation here for Gao, who's been behind for a very long time. Well, he is attacking the bottom right, which is important. He does definitely need to deny that base. A lot of drones going towards that bottom left, though. That's 3 very healthy mining bases down there. Some good upgrades, of course, on both sides. 3-2. Oh, wow. Better armor upgrades here for Gao at the moment. Gao looks like he's going to do a counterattack on the 3rd base, which is the only mining base for Gao right now. Or ArtUser is going to do that attack, rather. Muta's getting in. Getting on top of those missile turrets very easily. Going after the SCVs. This might be the last attempt by Gao. Definitely not looking good. ArtUser going to be able to kill off the last mining base, and then honestly, he can just kind of turn around. Hitting Broodling. At this point, I don't think it matters what he Broodlings as much. Obviously, Siege Tanks are a slightly better choice. But like, with the amount of mutas he has, even if he hits all Goliaths with that, the mutas are going to be able to help clean up as well. Gao doing his best to push through the natural. The Muta's flying back to help out with that. Oh, he's going to infest a command center. Oh, yeah. Okay, Gao GG's before it happens. ArtUser still trying to get it. And ArtUser going to be victorious here. All right. Very well done by ArtUser. And he will win our 3rd set here in the round of 8. That was actually a really, really good match. A very good match. Definitely better than the first 2 matches. But I still think that the best match is here yet to come here in the round of 8. It is going to be Scan versus Snow. That will be next time. And yeah, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed the PSL here today, the Premier Star League. ArtUser moves on to that semifinals for round 1. Well done to him. Gao is someone I'm really excited to see again, because I actually think he played some excellent games, and if he fixes a few small things, he's going to be even stronger. So yeah, you know, we'll go into our last match for the round of 8 in the next one.